Hey everybody. It's weird. Quantum entangled energy. This is that card I was talking about this morning after that dream, where it's like Two of Pentacles energy, where infinity is a factor through portals. This is crazy. All right. If you go back and watch that dream, it was all about transmigration, reaching through dimensions, and being quantumly entangled, superimposed with another soul. Not necessarily in a twin flame sort of way where you both came from one and you split off, but in a different sort of overlay. It's interesting. Fall energy. Anyway, I don't know, the quantum card might be relevant today. What do you have to say, Spirit? Give me two cards. Queen of Cups. The Star. I'm hearing that quote from the What About Us reading way back in the day. We are rockets shooting up at the stars. We are billions of beautiful hearts. This is about divine purpose, portal energy coming through once again. With the crystalline grid on the bottom, this is about more than just two entangled souls. This is about these points of energy connecting all over the fucking planet, man. This is about some kind of quantum awakening happening right now. And you know, blue car, synchronicity, creation, connection. Spiders are a big forward movement in the romance department. And you know, I wasn't going to say anything about this because I still don't know what's happening. But I spent a good amount of time talking to Gym Crush today. And it was mostly about motorcycles, because that was on my list for a long time. What the fuck? Divine Union. We've got Fool energy here too. But apparently he'd been in like a really bad motorcycle accident like a year ago. Like coma, metal plates everywhere, screws in all the fingers, and just horrible, terrible event. And I've been in this energy the last year of I can't live in fear. I can't live in fear. Another portal energy. I can't live in fear of what's going to happen, what could happen. But statistically, you look at motorcycles and you see a lot of death. You just do. My sister makes prosthetics for people that have lost limbs, and she tells me most of her people, maybe not most, but a solid chunk of her clients are people that survived motorcycle crashes. And something he said today was that when you go through a really bad crash, it's probably easier to die. It's probably easier to die rather than to rehab, rather than to go through physical therapy and relearn how to walk and do all of these crazy things. I felt that, you know? And I've always been the kind of person that would rather be smart. I would rather avoid dangerous situations. I would rather... Phoenix. You know, that's another thing he said, that it's kind of like you died. He said they had a near-death experience. He flatlined. They had to resuscitate. And he was changed afterwards, not the same. Also experienced a lot of memory loss. Some personality change also. But where's the line, you know? Because I plan on skydiving. That's dangerous. planned on motorcycling. It's dangerous. But I wouldn't leave my house 2 years ago, you know? It was difficult for me to sit in a vulnerable position in the restaurant. I used to only be able to sit on the inside or in a corner because I felt safe. And it took a year and a half of me sitting with my back to an open restaurant before I felt comfortable doing that. So maybe it's not necessarily about just being brave. Because the line between brave and reckless is thin, right? Even if you are careful, even if you are as careful and hypervigilant as you can possibly be, something could just happen. But that was always the case before. I got out of bed every single day and I told myself every time I got into a car, I don't have to do anything wrong. Something could just happen. And it scared me so badly that I wouldn't get in a car. I wouldn't drive with anybody. But I can't live in fear. But is there a difference between not living in fear and going out of my way to do dangerous things? I'm seeing a moth. Do you need to do dangerous things in order to feel alive? Do you need to launch yourself into dangerous situations to prove that you're brave? Because you get exhilaration, you get fun, you get freedom, you get joy out of those situations. But is it worth it? I don't know. I kind of wanted to talk to him more about it, but, we were closing. He had to go. I think there was a lot of things. I got the Black Panther, which is move in silence, and then the High Priestess. Be careful with your information. There will be more conversations. I'll get to learn more. But I need to think about this. I need to think about whether this is really for me. If I jump out of a plane, will I stop being scared of heights? Because that's the point, right? When I got over my fear of snakes, I stuck my hand in the cage and I let it bite me until I wasn't afraid anymore. And I learned to handle them, and I got good at handling them. But I still won't fuck with a wild snake. If I jump off of this plane, will I be able to jump off of a cliff into water? Will that make me brave? Will that mean that I'm not scared anymore, that I've conquered my fear? Because I'm starting to believe that simply doing it doesn't mean you're not afraid. I think bravery is being scared and doing it anyway. But part of me is like, not even afraid. It's being pragmatic. The line between bravery and stupidity is so thin. And at the end of the day, I think he was right. That if you put yourself in that situation, anything that happens to you is your responsibility. Keeping yourself safe is your responsibility. It's a lot to think about.